What's up, everybody? My name's Chad Brock.
And I'm Zach Bailiff.
Watching episode 11 of the Orion Podcast. You know, somebody forgot to bring the banner up. Here we go.
Jeez.
What is up, good people from all around the world? Welcome
back again. Back
to Orion Podcast, episode 11, powered by the good people at Jackson Kayak and, of course, Orion Coolers, the Cooler Podcast, telling even cooler stories. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do.
We're here.
That is our hour slot, and we enjoy the heck out of it, and we're glad y'all could make it tonight. So Zach, you did a little jeeping last couple weekends.
Yeah, got to go play in the dirt last Saturday a little bit. Well, last 2 weeks, I guess. 2 or 3 weeks. Can't remember. We had the Jeep Fest before the last podcast, and then this past weekend they had an open ride weekend over at I say local. It's about a 45-50 minute trip to the off-road park, or one of them we hit around here. Got to play on the rocks and cover everything in dust. And I just checked the cooler a little bit ago. It's still got ice in it, so we're ready to go again.
Can't ask for more than that, man. At least it's finally starting to cool down just a little bit. It was a little warm over the weekend here. We hit
around 88, but
yeah, it's not bad, man. We got out the little fishing at the old stomping grounds. It was brutal, but we got through it. The real question is, where are we fishing at this weekend?
Yeah, that is a good question. We're going to be back in the same state again for a couple days. We got to find somewhere to go rip some lips and put them in the boat.
So here it is, Indiana people. If you want to go fishing with us this weekend, Monday probably, Sunday, Monday, one of the two. Monday. We're going to say Monday. If you guys want to go fishing with Zach and I, drop it in the comments below, and we'll wing something out there before the end of the podcast, or comment where you'd like to go fishing with us. We'll see if we can't make it happen. Yeah. Orion Podcast on the waters. Zach will sign autographs. You probably don't want mine.
That might devalue.
I don't just give out my signature. It's there's a whole thing. We can't really talk about it on air. But anyway, we got a cool guest tonight. Guy that needs to be here on this podcast. Probably needed to be on here already. He is. Gene Wilson says he's a legend. I don't know. I like to give him a hard time because he's a redfish guru.
I'm into redfish. Never been, but I'd like to go.
But I give him a hard time because I'm a bassing guy, and he does it all. But he catches them big redfish, big speckled trout. Man, he's down there in Texas, just turning and burning, doing big things. Like I said, he might be a legend. I feel like he's a good dude. He's a good dude. He might be a legend after he does the Orion Podcast, though. Everybody, let's give it up. Big, warm Orion welcome for the one, the only, Dustin Nichols. Why ain't you going up there, bro? I'm trying to enter him into the podcast, and I can't get him up there all of a sudden.
He's stuck backstage.
He is stuck backstage. What'd you do to me, Dustin?
Maybe he left to go fish from redfish.
He must have. You can hear me, right? I can hear you. Everything I click on is not working all of a sudden. Wonder if my let's try this.
Hey,
There
there he is.
Was you holding out on us?
I don't know what I was doing, man. It was like
Whatever button I hit worked.
I can't add myself. I'm not the host of the stream, man.
Yes,
We use this over on everybody. If you're not familiar, before we get into, I have a little podcast called Chasing the Tide myself, part of the Paddle and Fin Network. So yes, we're gonna have to return the favor. We'll have to have the Orion podcast on Chasing the Tide too. We're gonna do that. We're gonna make that happen. But yeah, what better way to kick off Orion podcast with a Orion weekender and a nice little ranch water.
There you go. There you go.
After a long day of work, sitting on that control room panel in that dang chemical plant.
Well, how's it going tonight, man? How is the how's the weather in Texas?
We're actually getting some much needed rain, like big time.
Oh, nice. Good
like
deal.
we need rain. We're pretty major drought over here right now, which I don't mind. As far as saltwater goes, you don't want a lot of freshwater influx back into the back marsh where little small feeder creeks and all that feed it and stuff. So, it's all good though. We do need it. The lakes need it. Definitely got some dropping levels in some of the lakes. So it's a good thing. Cooled it down too, because it's been hot. It's been like 100 triple digits, like nasty.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's let the people get to know you. There's a lot of people out there in Orion land. We got some variations of people that watch this thing. Let's tell them a little bit about you and kind of how you got started in the outdoors world.
I grew up in Southeast Texas. I'm in Southeast Georgia. I'm in Southeast Texas now. I left right after high school, went to the Marine Corps, did time in the Marine Corps, and moved back home. And the whole thing was growing up there in Southeast Georgia. You're around some good inshore fisheries there in the Golden Isles area. That's Brunswick, St. Simons, Jekyll, Little St. Simons. It's only 45 minutes to an hour from Jacksonville. Right there north of the Florida border, off exit 29, real close. Some good inshore fisheries, and then we're a short drive to Robbins Reservoir, St. John's River. Some of that Orange Lake, Crescent Lake, all the good lakes down there. Harris Chain's only about 2 hours and 40 minutes away. But I grew up, chasing little farm pond, neighborhood ponds there in Brunswick, golf course ponds, sneaking on golf course. When I could ride a bike, 12 years old, I was gone, and you better be home before the lights come on, it's one of them kind of deals. But, that's back in the day where, there's these landowners with these ponds, might have some cattle or something here and there, but you're like, hey, go knock on the door and, you mind if I go fishing in your pond? And my end. This was the big end back then. My granddad was the fire chief of Brunswick for over 20 years.
Oh wow!
So rest in peace, Papa Nichols, man. That he taught me a lot about fishing. And I was always, if he was taking his little boat out, I was in it and I was learning. And that's back when you'd be using big 12-inch long stick floats with like Dacron line and line dressing and the big pin number 9s and the Peerless 209s and these big heavy rods. And even as a younger angler then, I remember I was like telling my Uncle Ralph or Uncle Terry and my dad and his brothers, I was like, I'm going to take my bass rod out there. Old pistol grip lightning rod with a Daiwa mag force.
Yes,
I remember taking it out there and throwing square bills. Or throwing little stingray grubs or little worms and catching trout and redfish, and they'd be freaking out. Like, you can't do that. You got to throw these live shrimp on this. No, I'm throwing artificials like I catch bass. And that's what kind of spurred the whole interest in that inshore thing with artificials. Was as a kid, man, it just took off. Fishing has always been, it's always been part of my life. Being a waterman, being a surfer, you want to be around waves in the saltwater, so you're always around somewhere to fish too. When the waves are flat, what do you have to do? Go play golf, go skateboard, go fish.
Yeah,
gotta do something. But yeah, spent some time back home after Marine Corps and moved to California. And then my dad's like, dude, you need to come to Texas. It's kind of rough and tumble there for a little bit, sang in some bands, and you know, worked around as a chef and traveled and there, here and there. And then, you know, my dad's like, you need to come to Texas. So came to Texas in 96, been here ever since.
Now, the real question is, what kind of music was you singing? I know you just don't look like an R&B guy.
Punk rock.
I figured. So I'm going to go on a wild guess. You're in the genre of 39 to 42.
I turned 50 in last December.
Gosh, dang. Did he?
Wow.
Dang.
You see all that gray and sideburns?
Well, I got
Yeah,
some
if that don't mean I got some of that going on.
Hey,
yeah, the light at 40.
I'm
the
not
light's
taking my
starting to
hat off
illuminate
because
it.
y'all don't want to see that chrome dome look like Friar Tuck and junk up in this dude, man. Come on.
We're trying to get a Hims or a Just for Men sponsorship for this podcast.
Dude, I need it. If I grow my hair out and it gets curly, I look like Krusty the Clown, dude. I dye it red, I'll be crusty all day, brother. Oh man.
Oh.
So I know a lot of people, you know, when we talk about, you know, being in service and obviously you was having some fun, getting in some messes out in California and all that. Is fishing one of those things that kind of as you came back to it, kind of settled you back in? And
oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, once I moved to Texas, and that was the whole thing in Texas, you realize you'd see people like walking out in the water and be like, man, what are them people doing out there? Because in Georgia, you have like, you know, 5 to 7 foot tide swings, and you got that nasty mud you sink up to your neck in. And I was like, what are they doing walking out there in that water? And then they're like, oh man, there's flats out there. It's like sandy and hard bottom. You know, you can walk around and wade. And I figured that out. I was like, dude, I'm not limited to no just bank or no pier. I can go walk around, fish all these areas and walk in. There was a lot more walking spots back then, you know.
oh yeah.
So, and then the whole thing is then you see these guys in these kayaks, and you're like, man, you guys got rods all in that kayak, man. They're going all over the place. I said, that's even more range right there. And that's what really got me into the kayak fishing side of things too, because it just expanded your range. You cover more water, more places to fish, you know, get away from that bank where you walked in at instead of having to walk 2 miles.
Now, what stopped you from jumping in a big boat and going further out? Having that desire.
I mean, I have friends with boats, so I've always thought about wanting to get one of my own, but then it's just a cost savings. I mean, the boat I would want would probably be about $80,000.
That's when you call Jameson.
Yeah, that's when you call your buddies that have those boats and go with them. But no, the kayak, man, you're just so much closer to the action, and you're just the stealthiness involved in it. I mean, I've said that 100 times. It's just the experience being in a kayak and that close to the water and that close to the action. And then, I mean, you fishing, you have schools of redfish just come right by you, like swimming right by you, you know. Drop the lure in the water straight off the tip of your rod and hook up to them sometimes, you know. It can get like that stupid sometimes.
That'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely. Now, obviously inshore, your ocean dwelling and all that kind of fun stuff. What, you know, being a bassin guy and most of the people here in the Midwest, we're bassin people. Mm-hmm. We don't get down your way too awful much, unfortunately.
Especially with gas at $7 a gallon.
Yeah, especially right now. What are some of the, you know, risks that go along with inshore fishing, being out there and tide and wind?
Yeah, we don't have as much tidal movement as the Atlantic seaboard. You know, we get about a 1 to 2 foot tide change. But, you know, when you have a big, strong frontal system paired with a major dump or something, major low tide pull, you can get a lot of water that pushes out really fast and then leave you high and dry, like stuck in the mud. And you have to drag your kayak back a long ways to get to some navigable water, paddleable water. And it's hot. I mean, right now it's hot, you know, hydration and all that's key. And just knowing your limitations is a big thing here. You know, say you didn't expect the wind to come up and blow southeast or south out 20, and then you paddled, you know, out of your launch, you went north and fished, you know, 3-4 miles away. Then you got to paddle back against that 4 mile wind. If you don't have a pedal drive or a motor, you know, you definitely got to calculate all that stuff into play. And then just, I mean, you got a lot of oyster, a lot of shells, you know, you got to know your areas where you don't get cut up, you know, launching and this and that. If the tide goes out where you're launching, you don't have to hopscotch over and drag your kayak over sharp oyster, stuff like that. And then, you know, surf launching to go offshore, you got to make sure your weather's right, you know, no storms. I mean, squalls can pop up quick anywhere, you know, lightning risk and high winds with those associated with that can be dangerous. You know, and then just a lot of boat traffic, you know, on the weekend. There's certain areas on the coast that you kind of want to avoid on the weekend. And that's a good thing about working shift work. I work split shifts. I work a DuPont schedule. So I get to fish after work off night shifts. So I'm off during the week, you know, quite a few days. So there's a lot less pressure on the water during the week. Helps out.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, when you're out there, I mean, obviously it's not just redfish. Well, you know, you guys got speckled trout. You've got a lot going on.
Oh, yeah. My buddy Kevin, you know, I was going to bring something up about that too, about the alligators in the marsh and the stringers. If you're waiting, the sharks will come and try to eat the fish off your stringers, even in the bay systems. Yeah, that'll happen too. Yeah. I was going to get to that eventually. I just kind of left that out.
I'm out.
Yeah, you're out. I'm out. No sharks. Lots of gators in the marsh.
I don't care about the sharks. I don't care about the sharks. I care about the alligators. That's why I won't go fishing with Gene. That's why I can't go hang out with Gene. Like, I've got a line and it's like it stops at Southern Tennessee. I can't go past Chickamauga. It's just physically incapable. Takes medication.
Yeah, there's some big lizards over here. Choke Canyon and Lake Fork definitely has some giants. Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, you know, Caddo. They're a little more hidden over there. I didn't see a single one over there when I went and fished there in April. You know, I do dabble on the bass side too. You know, that as a kid, that was a big part of my, you know, being able to fish as a youngster. If I wasn't going, you know, in the boat with my granddad or uncles, you know, I chased the bass, and then that kind of kicked back off later. You know, after I, you know, started getting the inshore bug again over here and all that.
And you're actually fishing both types of tournaments. You're fishing both inshore and bass tournaments.
Yeah, I will.
What's the difference in that vibe? I mean, as far as somebody like me that's never been around inshore, never fished inshore tournaments, how does that crowd? I mean, it's, you know, each style of fishing kind of seems to have its own different crowd. How did those two styles vary?
Oh, I mean, there's a lot more involved with your craft and really studying areas if you go into different lakes. You know, in fishing tournaments and, you know, national level tournaments or bigger tournaments, say Caddo or Sam Rayburn or Chickamauga or Pickwick, or, you know, went down to Kissimmee a couple years back, you know, just because I grew up fishing down there. You know, I kind of know some stuff down there a little bit, but you definitely do a lot more map studying and graphing and stuff. Now, I do use my graph at certain times in saltwater. I do, but a lot of it is, you know, a lot of the tournaments are open boundaries, you know, even if you drive 3 hours, if you can make it away in, you can fish 3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no captain's meeting in the morning. You just got to check in, and then you're already at your spot, ready to launch at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. And you get to your spot, you catch your fish by 9 o'clock and you're gone. And it's areas that you're familiar with already.
Right.
Like a lot of these redfish tournaments, you'll have to weigh in at a certain spot and you have to be there, you know, between 1 and 4. You know, you catch your fish early, you got to keep them alive. That's another different aspect. A lot of our redfish tournaments are live weigh-ins. So I actually run a live well on the kayak with oxygen and a recirculator and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That has to weight to the boat.
Now, that's weight to the boat. A whole lot. About 9 gallons of water plus 2 7-8 pound redfish. You get heavy up front.
Right.
Get your bow down in the water.
Guarantee it. You're probably laying on the bow. Stay down. But hey, you're up on plane.
Yeah, that U-pick helped. That U-pick works wonders. It's great. Yep.
And let's kind of talk about your choice in boats and how you got them set up right now. I know the U-pick's been a favorite for you this past year, one you've been using a lot. Tell us a little bit about that boat and how you got it set up.
That boat's really cool because it's such an open platform. You know, there's nothing for anything to get stuck on. You know, it's just a scooped out deck. You know, It's got gear track running down both sides. You can get trim your seat up a little bit and get your crate behind it, or if like one of our other teammates, Mike Fiorenza, who actually fishes team tournaments with me. Also, he's also on Jackson. You can fit your live well behind you, or you can fit your live well in front of you in that boat. I like to have them on up front because with a Torpedo, you kind of want to get your bow down in the water anyways, because when you start to get up and your bow starts to rise up, and then, you kind of porpoise a little bit here.
Do the hop.
You trim forward.
Yeah.
And you get that live well up front and it digs that bow down. It just cuts right through the wave so much better. But yeah, the U-Pick's been great. It paddles well. You can stand up and push pole around in it. It's just got a lot of room for, putting any kind of accessories you want, stuff behind you, in front of you, strapping stuff down. It's just been a great boat for the marsh. Really great boat.
Now, I got to ask, because back when I made my own live well, it was a cooler with some hose drilled in it and a couple of bubble boxes. So tell me how you guys are doing it out there in the redfish.
I remember that live well.
It's a plain old Sportsman box.
Okay.
And it's just got a removable lid with like little hinges with little clamps on it. And I took that lid and I cut it in about 2/3. And then I zip tied the bigger portion down. And then I zip tied to make hinges on that lid so it folds up and down so I get my redfish in and out through that. But then I built a PVC kind of structure and put an old piece of laundry basket with zip ties and ran my oxygen stone down it and tied it off to the bottom and set it down there. I made 2 little T's and made a little divider inside there so it holds the redfish upright and it won't let them like mess with each other. And it kind of gives them a little, for some reason, I think it gives them, because they're up against something like structure and they kind of feel like they're okay in there.
Right.
Huh.
And then I got a recirculator that just runs off of a small, 10 amp hour lithium battery. And then I got used G juice in there. And I usually have some frozen water bottles to throw in there, keep the water cool on the hot days too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. It's pretty nice.
But when you're talking about that live well full Dakota lithium batteries, Torpedo, tackle, all the rods that you're taking.
Yep.
What's your boat weighing?
Whew. I don't know. It's up there. With the live well, that's probably, 70 extra pounds right there. Yeah. In the crate and the tackle, and then 4 rods normally. And a stringer at times. I'll have a stringer with a stakeout pole. A lot of times I won't drag the fish on a stringer. I'll find a central location, kind of where I'm around, and stake them out and let them swim around on the stringer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of dragging them, because a lot of times you try to drag them on that stringer, you're gonna flood them. You're gonna drown them.
Right.
So you can't really move that fast. So when you want to haul butt somewhere, you put them in the live well.
Right.
Or when you're about to head back to the launch, full speed. We had one, 3-4 weeks ago, we had 25 mile an hour winds, maybe a little bit higher gusts. And I caught my second redfish. I called one at the end. I had 2 smaller redfish, lower slot fish, and just lucky to catch fish that day because it was a tough day. And I put them fish in the live well, got them lined out, and G juice, put a couple of bottles in there to cool them down, and then was gone. And I was hitting them, cutting through them waves. I had the big rig that day. I had the live well in front of me in the big rig with the HD pod. And man, I was getting it. I had that 11.3 pegged out like 6.2 going into the wind. It was pretty good too. I was soaking wet. Looked like I jumped in the water. I mean, that's how wet I was after coming back through that chop. It's like 2-foot chop, dude.
And that old big rig, man, that thing, as Chris Funk says, that dude would run in wet grass.
Oh yeah, that thing run, dude.
Yeah, they
especially with 11.03 on the back. Yep, it's good stuff, man.
Mine's out there somewhere with our first guest. He's got it. I don't know where it's at actually. I got a big rig. It's out there somewhere.
Fully loaded.
Yeah,
fully loaded
with
that
there.
Torpedo. I was wondering how fast you were running.
Yeah, on the big rig with the Torpedo, I can run like 6.2 on the big rig. On the NAR, I get a little more than that.
Which the NAR is just a little bit different.
It's a lot more rocker. The whole up front, the bow's got a little more aggressive size. It cuts through the waves a little better than that big rig does. Yeah.
Right. To kind of sum up the NAR, it's really shedding as you're pushing through. It's really It's really pushing the water away like a big boat, like a bass boat would. It does a great job. The boat's fast.
Sure does. It's fast just pedaling it.
Oh man, just pedaling last night, not trying. I took it out just on a whim. We've had nice weather here, so I was like, I talked to you on the phone. I was like, I'm just going. I'm just going. So I loaded it up bare bones and got out there. Man, I was running 4.5, not even trying, and just cruising. Like I said, that's just a couple rods, and
that new drive's a lot more efficient, and then that whole shape and whole design just butter. Cuts through the water like butter.
Yeah. It does. And you were also one of the ones, we talked to Matt Ball last time. You're also one of the ones that was involved with helping us come up with this new boat and everything that it should be.
Yeah, that was a very, very cool process to be involved with that development team for the NAR. You know, I don't know. It's just like, dude, it makes your heart happy. You're like, man, I came into kayak fishing maybe a little bit later than some of the other people. You know, 8 years now, I guess. But I've been with Jackson 4. And to move up, you know, year after year from, you know, regional, then the national, then the factory the last 2 years, it's been awesome. It's been like, I mean, there's no lack of not putting in work, because you got to put in work if you want something. If you want to succeed, you got to put in the work. And I preach it all the time as far as, you know, being sponsored, and I can touch on some of that too.
Absolutely.
It's coming up surfing and skateboarding. You know, you were associated with surf shops or a skate shop, and then you'd have reps from the companies, clothing, the boards, the wheels, the trucks. You'd get noticed, and they'd be like, "Oh, you want to flow you some stuff and give you some stuff, you know, just support us." You know, that's how it worked. And you get sponsors. Next thing you know, you might be getting a little check here and there. You get more free stuff. And that's where I cut my teeth, learning how to, you know, give a return on investment and get recognized and put stuff out there. Put yourself out there for a product you believed in, not just a product you just want to get a badge on your sleeve because you want to be a pro staff for that team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm kind of getting off track, but yeah.
No,
but yeah.
Keep going. This is tell the kids at home.
But yeah,
there's we've been around.
There's a whole. There's a wrong way to do it, and there's a right way to do it. You know, you gotta make yourself a brand, and then you got to use stuff you believe in, for sure.
Yeah, and I think all of us here would definitely say, you know, using something that you believe in, it goes a long way, and not just, you know, if I've kind of been on a kick where, you know, okay, I don't do bait sponsorships or anything like that personally. If I like something, I go buy it. If a bag of $5 baits is going to eat me up, then I need to quit what I'm doing. You know, I like to try different things out, but it's kind of like that. You know, my focus is the people that I stick with, like Jackson Kayak, and you know, that goes a long way. And like you said, putting in the work. Zach works with Hoyt and Under Armour and some different places like that. And, you know, you put in that work, you take time, you get the photographs, you do those items that really need to be done. And I think, you know, the sky's the limit, but you can't coming into a program of any type. And when you look at it, some of the attitudes can get in the way, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Don't come in like
being one of the team leads. I see that, you know,
see
some of that with some guys, you know, trying to join a team and want this and that already off the bat. Like, well, no.
I think it's that humble remembering you're not owed anything.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just believing in the product. And then it's not always about what the company can do for you, but it's what you're going to do for that company. And a lot of organic content. It's from the heart, stuff you believe in. That's what's going to get noticed before anything else, before you bugging them on DMs, dropping them DMs, man. You know, organic content, it's for real, you know, not no fake stage stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, you know, you've got to be real with it. I mean, a lot of times, as we all know, social media is a highlight reel of the good stuff. You got to show the stuff that sucks too sometimes.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
you
and
do.
the struggle and the work that goes in and what it takes to get where you're at, you know, the work you put in and the early mornings and all that stuff too. And it shows. I mean, the folks that are really paying attention, they can see it all. So
Yes, sir, for sure. My buddy Kevin said Dustin's always grinding, come a long way since the bruised banana days. We can go into that real quick though. That was my first kayak. I got a Perception Caster 12.5 from Academy. Oh, big old yellow, ugly with the scoop seat. And actually got an upgraded like seat back where it supported you up to your shoulders a little more, and then your rear end was, as Chris Funk was, dang, rear end's always wet. Chris Funk would say that's how you sound. And man, I got in that thing, and I used to top it on the old Corolla S. Car top that thing, And man, I got to think. I was like, man, that old yellow paint job. I'm gonna do something. I like took flat black spray paint, like painted fades on the bow and the stern. And all my buddies at work say, man, Dustin, you going fish? You take that bruised banana out today, ain't you? Me cracking up, man. It's pretty good fun, Well, yeah,
I love it.
Bruised banana.
Bruised we were trying to figure out a name, and you just got one. That bruised almost legendary. Manner. I'm gonna talk to James and see if we can't make it
worth keeping that thing around. Yeah,
we need to do one. Old special edition, old Dustin special bruised banana.
Bruised banana. 2020.
Do me a U pick in that. I will pimp that thing all over the place.
2024 color.
For you,
You've
buddy.
heard
it paid for a custom color.
Jackson Kayak 2024 color, the bruised banana.
Bruised banana.
We sold one.
We sold one. Yeah, man, that thing, man, I caught a lot of fish out of that thing. There's nothing better than pulling up at a boat ramp with a kayak with a big stringer full of trout and redfish, and all the boats are like, good Lord, you caught all of them today? Yes, sir. I straight smacked them. He'd be like, man, we only caught like 2 little dinks. I'm like, You're making too much noise in that boat.
Yep.
Run what you brung, buddy.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell y'all another thing, though. You talking about down there fishing with Miss Jean? We had a little JK Media House meet up down there at the St. Mark's Shell Island Fish Camp.
Mm-hmm.
Had a good old time right when the U-Pick did come out and the Kilroy HD.
Yep. We
were all fishing in the evening. We go fish saltwater, then we go fish the river, and then we fish the river at Shell Island, and you catch bass, 14, 15-inch fish. We probably caught over 100 between all of us on little popping frogs, And I was on the other side of the river. It's starting to get a little dark, twilight time, and we were hauling bud. I had that Kilroy HD. I guarantee I was paddling that thing could move. That thing cuts some water. 12, 10, 35 and a half inches wide with no scuppers, smooth. Man, you get it moving. Dude, I didn't know what it was when it happened. And I got lifted out of the water. I thought it was an alligator. I was like, ah! and I spooked the pot of manatees that was out there just floating in the middle.
No kid.
And them things, I swear that thing lifted me 2 foot out of the water.
Without even trying.
All I remember was my nickname's Doo-Doo, and we can talk about that too in a while. Or like, Chris Funk, Dustin, boy, you got stains in them drawers. You got skid marks in there. You okay? And Miss Jean was like, Dustin, you okay? I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. I just didn't know what it was, man. Oh man, you talking about tight. Yeah, it was, buddy. Yeah, that was a good one. That's a good trip.
Tatered.
Made some good food up there. Me and Jameson got on that pit, made some strawberry jalapeno coleslaw, some ribs, and did some homemade baked beans and made some kind of dessert too. I can't remember what it was. Some banana pudding or something.
Man, you did pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
All Jameson's cooked for me is spam.
Hey, that's pretty good, dude.
But that's a whole nother story. We're at the marketing summit, and we're at the marketing meeting, and Emily got us Thai food on the first night, and her and Nick come in with this big bag of Thai food, and me and Bridget Jameson were just like, okay, we never had Thai food, so
dude, so good.
I mean, I'm from Bedford, Indiana. There's no Thai place here.
There's no Thai place,
right? Yeah.
So you're missing out.
But anyway, we're eating it. We're just like, not much flavor here. So we got this rice, and Jameson's like, I got a can of spam. we cooked up spam on the grill, man, and yeah, we had spam and rice instead of tofu. It was good. And what was it, tofu or Thai food? It was Thai food. Yeah. So yeah, it was my first experience with Jameson cooking for me.
Spam. Oh yeah, James can throw down pretty good. Wish I was sponsored by Traeger.
You and me both.
No,
shots fired. Shots fired.
Got a cool meat. I got a cool partnership with the meat market here in town that does a lot of good stuff. Chopping block.
That's sweet.
It makes some homemade boudin. They got some good sausages, a lot of dry aged Wagyu steaks, and all kind of good stuff. So yeah, I'm stoked to get on with them this year.
New
little company there, get some stuff for the tournaments, get the grill up and stuff. Share the love, good stuff, man.
So what's some of the big things that you got planned as you're moving forward throughout the rest of this year? I know it's getting kind of late in the year, but what do you got left on the chopping block, so to speak?
There you go. We're about to drive to Georgia to see my family. My niece had a new little girl, Amelia Jo. So we're gonna roll over there for 4th of July week and hang out. And then a couple weeks after that, I'm on my way up to Connecticut for the Three Bells Trifecta tournament. Road tripping, 28 hours on the road. Yeah, I'm a road dog, man. I drive all over. I'm like, whatever the gas prices aren't hindering this trip, I'm going on this one. I'm going to catch some striper, some fluke, and some bluefish. That's the 3 species for the trifecta. They have an overall tournament for all 3 fish, best one, each of one for 3 total aggregate. And then they have big fish for the bluefish, big fish for striper, fluke, and they have some trash, black sea bass and sea robin and, some of that. So I think it'll be a pretty cool experience. I am on their national team this year. I was one of the few outside of the Northeast that was put on there. Pretty stoked to be a part of their team. They've been good to me. Got some good stuff going on with them. So I'm going to head up and fish that. And then we've got a professional redfish league tournament coming up July 17th. That's before I go there. And then in late August, I'm going to Okeechobee to fish with the Coosa Kingfishers on the KFL match. I got picked up with them as a kind of like an extra addition to go down there and punch some grass and throw some big baits and frogs. Yeah. Hopefully that'll be cool. I've been on Okeechobee in a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go do some little bass stuff at the end of October, the end of August. Yeah, it should be fun. And a few more tournaments here and there to finish out the year. We'll see what else is on the schedule.
Now, how's your boat rigging? How's your whole setup kind of differ between your redfish setup and your bass setup?
Well, I take the NAR where I had the big rig FD set up before. But yeah, it's definitely a lot different, with the fish finder setup on it, and just more tackle, more rods. The cool thing about the NAR is having those extra slots for those rods on the in-hole storage. And then our baits differ. A lot of stuff I throw in salt water. I do transition some stuff back and forth. Like chatterbaits. A lot of people might not know, but I fish a lot of chatterbaits on the flats for redfish. I use big glide baits and jerk baits for big speckled trout. And that's a lot of people are starting to see that. There's a guy here, Chris Bush, military, good guy, has this thing called Speckled Truth podcast and some content, and he always shares some good stuff. But he's also dabbled in that. Got a friend in Florida and Louisiana. They do custom glide baits, saltwater specific, and he does some jerk baits and he shaves the bills down to make them where they'll run like 1.5 foot deep, so you can fish them on the flats above the suspended grass. Really cool. And there's some saltwater baits that I transitioned to freshwater that the bass haven't seen.
Let's talk about those after.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. Yeah, it's something different. Something definitely different.
No, that's the key. A lot of times is throwing something they ain't seen.
Something they haven't seen. I'm curious to see what that Berkeley slobber knocker, that new chatterbait that guy's coming out, how it works. I heard it's got a little different look to it, a little different sound. So we shall see. I'm gonna get one, get a couple.
I'd like to get like 10. I just actually went through the whole process. We was talking about this a little bit last night. I had to do a little crate purging. I was up over 30 pounds in just my crate with hard baits, and I kind of had this moment where it's like do I really need
Yeah.
12 red eye shads? And
Oh, I know. I'm the same
and
way.
it's like I probably could buy 3 and keep
Do
10
I
in the
do
truck.
I need the kitchen sink?
I'm the same way. I'm an overkill on plastics. Like for my redfish and trout tournaments, I usually have like two 3400, like the smaller Plano edge boxes that fit in the U-pick slots really good, or 3600 maybe.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Throw them in there, and I usually got a money bag with plastics, and then I got like a little bag that mounts to the seat with pockets in the zipper. I got my leader and like pliers in that, and I got some fish attracted in there. And then like 3 or 4 bags of plastics there, like the colors I'm really keyed in and using. I usually got like some light colors and some dark colors, depending on if there's some watercolor change or something I can adjust. Yeah. Same on the bass side too. Got a lot of plastics.
Yeah.
All over the boat.
We resemble that statement. You know, you talking about sneaking into the golf courses and stuff like that when we first opened up. Our second video that we ever put on Zach and I's YouTube when we first started doing this kind of stuff, it was we called it the Creek Show, where we snuck in to the golf course and we had a guy that he was wearing purple shorts with hearts, and it was an exciting day. Had on, you know, we didn't have waders or anything like that. We just wore an old pair of muck boots out there in the creek. Had them full of water, take it, dump it out. I mean, we caused a scene right through the Memorial Day tournament.
Oh, goodness.
And blew out our creek spot in the process. But
yeah, we did end up blowing out our creek spot.
Yeah, there's a lot
of
that going on. There's a lot of YouTube spot burners around Texas, and I'll tell you that right now. We had some Otter Gate stuff go on with some guy pulled a Glock on an otter and put it on video, and then he turned his comments off, and it was just like, ah!
Oh, geez.
He was scared of some otters in some back creeks, man. And it was like, it was freaking hilarious. And this has been a while ago, and there's still people talking about it. I mean, you can't forget. Once you see it, you can't forget it, dude. I mean, it's like
I bet.
Crazy, like lock and load and wanting to shoot an otter.
Jeez.
Just
Otter
a floating teddy bear.
I know.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
I'd rather have an otter than a beaver. I think beavers are more mean than the dang otters are.
Yeah. Our good buddy Aaron Steiger he had a great fear of beavers.
Yep, Aaron. Yep.
Yeah, he had a few run-ins, best I remember.
Yeah. Hey, them things they'll come at you. So them nutras are kind of dumb though. The nutra rats won't really mess with you, but the otters will they're curious. Otters are a lot more curious than beavers are, but beavers are just downright mean.
Yeah.
Now, knock on wood, here they see so much that they pretty much leave you alone here in Indiana.
Yeah.
But
what's up, Jerry Martinez? Mike Ferriz, another Jackson guy. Franco Natividad. I see a lot of guys on. Kevin Will, Chase Cassidy, Gene Wilson, Miss Jean. We're gonna eat breakfast with you on our way out of Georgia. Thursday. Next Thursday, a week from Thursday. We're going to try to set it up and stop and eat breakfast with you. We always stop and eat. That's how we met Miss Jean originally in person, was on a trip, you know, over there. We timed it where we met her and ate breakfast with her, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Met Miss Jean in person. Mama Jean.
Yep. And I get the privilege to work with her every day, and I still ain't met her.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks. So
she's one of the most genuine persons you'll ever meet.
Absolutely.
Sweetest lady in the world, man.
Shoot you straight and congratulate you all at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's the best way to be. Now, so let's talk about this bass thing a little bit.
Okay.
You're a bass guy. You're a secret bass guy.
I'm secret. I'm an undercover bass lover.
Undercover bass lover. I always knew it.
Yeah. Closet bass fisherman.
Closet bass fisherman. Favorite rod and reel.
My favorite rod and reel.
Favorite rod and reel for bassing.
My favorite rod right now is my rod sponsored Waterloo's, a local company. He's got a blank from Rain Shadow called the Judge. Mm-hmm. Jameson turned me on to that, and Jimmy at Waterloo does use some bats and stuff. So he had some of those blanks, and he made me a 7.3 chatterbait rod, and I use titanium recoil guides on all my stuff after using them in saltwater over the years. And I've transitioned to all my bass rods now, and I like them way better. You're not losing that ceramic insert all the time and all that good stuff. And then you can bend them and mash them, and they kind of bend and spring form right back. But yeah, that's the 7.3 on a Daiwa Tatula SV, the limited edition. with the JDM handle and silver reel. It's real nice. That's a 6.5 to 1. And I run it with a 17-pound J braid samurai hidden concept with my chatterbaits. I'll throw a chatterbait all day if I can. I love the bruised green pumpkin jackhammer. It's black and blue on the top, green pumpkin on the bottom, and that we got a nice colored grande kickback shad that matches it pretty good.
All right, now let's
throw that all day.
Now let's flip the script here. How does that compare to an inshore rod for the people at home? Yep,
a lot heavier action. I have all different rods for freshwater, all different rods for saltwater, and different reels. The Iowa to have the SV TW150 Coastal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the blue reel, the 150 size. I really hope Iowa, if you're listening, make a 100 series, make a smaller bombable reel, and be all good. And then a lot of my inshore rods are like 6.6 or 6.9 with a shorter butt end on them, and they're medium light to medium heavy, moderate, and fast. And some are extra fast. It all depends on what you're throwing. Because a lot of times I can throw lightweight, jig heads, 16th ounce jig heads with just small soft plastics on them, or I'm throwing, one knocker spooks on a 6.9, medium heavy, moderate. It's the blank called a Ultra Mag from Waterloo, and a HP Slam Mag, same thing. Some of our lures are a little heavier, 3/4 ounce to 1 ounce, but we're still throwing on them little light rods because I'd rather throw a top water on a lighter rod all day and just not deal with that wrist fatigue from walking the dog all day. And that's the thing on the bass fishing, when you're fishing a frog, you're fishing a heavy rod, you're twitching or you're using your reel to kind of bump it, and your components matter in your rods. It's like, well, I'll fish with any rod I want, but you're fishing with that heavy rod, you're going to have more fatigue. You're going to get less cast because you're going to be more tired. And I'm a firm believer, especially saltwater fishing, that the more time that lure's in that water, the better chance you got to catch a fish. You're not going to catch a fish with it just sitting over the edge of your kayak.
Right. Chris Payne says you need to get bigger hands, by the way.
Bigger hands. They good, brother.
So, okay, Gene's got one.
Oh.
Gene's got one. Dustin, do you move the chatterbait the same way in saltwater that you would in freshwater? Any specific tips? Specific. New word.
Orion
Podcast. In a specific way. No, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm fishing it. A lot of times I'll fish it over, the grass flats that has sand pockets, and I'll rip it out of the grass and just kind of kill it and pause it in the sand pockets and just like start it back up again. I mean, it really all depends on what the fish want. Same thing bass fishing. The fish might want you yo-yoing it in the grass, or they might want you burn it over the top, or they might want you just slow rolling it. It just really depends on what the fish want. Same thing in the saltwater. It all depends on what the fish want.
Kind of change it up till you find a pattern that works.
Change it up and find it. Normally they'll just eat it, just reeling it straight in. I know my buddy Kevin's uses chatterbaits here too. It's kind of caught on a little bit. There's more people starting to figure it out, for sure.
And them speckled trout, they love it.
They'll eat it.
My first trout that I ever caught was actually rainbow, and it was on a big old 3/8 chatterbait.
Dang, that's cool.
And right there in the Cumberland River. But I think every fish loves the chatterbait, actually.
Dude, I've caught big catfish on it, blue cats, channel cats, yellow cats,
walleye, stripers.
Crappie, them big old crappie. Nail that thing, boy.
I don't think there is a fish out there, in all honesty, that can resist the chatterbait.
Oh yeah, I've caught flounder on them, slow rolling them over little sandbars and stuff. Yeah,
it's the bait.
They look good. You get a good reaction strike out of fish when they're doing nothing. Just like a wake bait. Wake bait's the same way for redfish. You can throw stuff all day at some fish, and you just throw that wake bait on it. It just makes them so mad. And a lot of people have transitioned those wake baits into bass fishing too, especially around cypress knees that are submerged. Them things only run, 3 to 5 inches under the water, and you can fish them real slow, and they'll just zigzag up on the top.
Yep.
I know they're good on those cypress.
Get them reaction strikes. Yeah.
Yep. You'll get reaction strikes from them. It's got one ball bearing in them that makes it just a knock, just a good loud frequency. And it just makes them mad. You get a lot of reaction strikes from the redfish, from those and the bass. Yeah.
Now, here's the $1 million question.
Mm-hmm.
Which fish hits harder, the reds or the bass?
Oh,
break somebody's heart tonight. Let's hear it.
Dude, I've had some big fish. The 2 tournaments ago on Nacogdoches, I lost 2 freaking pigs way up in lily pads, fishing some channel swings with a jackhammer. And I have one just straight about knocked the rod out my hand. Bam! And I've had the redfish do the same thing. Their tendencies are very alike. But the redfish fights by far way more than the bass do. You catch a 8-pound redfish, 27-inch redfish, and it's going to, as soon as you set the hook, you're going to get a 50, 30 to 50 yard run, just burning the drag. Then you got to turn them, keep them out of grass, keep them out of shell, keep them out of structure or whatever you got to do. You can run your drag a little bit tighter and kind of horse them. But no, they're strong. Those redfish are strong, real strong.
Yeah,
I mean, bass are strong too, but
maybe we need to go, Zach.
Just a little different. Just a little different.
I've been wanting to get on some bull reds for years now, so I'm ready to go whenever.
Yeah, and when you get super high tides and they start getting up in that Spartina grass and the salt grass, they'll hit a frog too.
Oh, wow.
When is the best time for anybody at home that's looking on taking a trip? Where would you send them, and what time of year would you tell them to come down?
Oh man, September to December, man. In my area, they're really schooling. They're really moving around. A lot of the bigger fish are going to start moving out to make their annual migration to the Gulf to spawn and everything. But you always got fish moving. You got a big influx of bait, a lot of good sized shrimp in the marsh that time of year, and you're gonna see a lot of fish piled up. The reds like to school up and just cruise down the shorelines, just gulping shrimp everywhere. And you'll see the birds on the bank following them. So you can look across like a back lake and you'll see like 5 or 6 birds. It looks like they're doing hopscotch. And then white birds, those they don't like each other. The only time they're together is if they're eating or if they're mating. Like for real. They can't stand being around each other. So if they're together, they're chasing fish. They're chasing the fish that are knocking the bait out of the water. Yeah.
Now, this one's off the cuff because it's a question that we ask everybody, and our good friend Jason Cassidy.
He reminded us. I saw it.
He reminded us. So we're not doing – I'm having computer issues, whether you can see it at home tonight or not. My mouse is froze up, so I can't click on anything but my button. And Jerry. So anyway, we're kind of skipping 5 questions tonight. Just tonight. Sorry, Dustin.
Yeah.
I'll bring you back on. We'll do 5 questions later. But he's wanting to know. Give us that great gas station story. Funniest thing that's
you don't want to
out there.
Funny. I got some bad stuff happening at gas station.
That's fun. We've had rap videos.
Oh, man.
Just keep it PG-13, but later.
No, I had back before I moved to Texas when I was, I was a little wild. Out of the Marine Corps, I was still crazy, but I had a friend of mine at a party get just blindsided. Somebody knocked him, just hit him out of nowhere. And I came to his protection and I got all up in these 3 other guys' face and basically put them in the spot. There was some stuff said, some weapons drawn and this and that, and we kind of diffused the situation. Well, them guys caught me one night, like the night before I was about to go to Texas. They caught me getting out of my buddy Shane's car at the Jiffy station right there on St. Simon's Island. It's now a Parker's convenience store or whatever. And they bum rushed me and knocked me through the window.
Oh, wow.
But I proceeded. I had a cut on my head, a cut on my elbow, and then one guy hit me in the side of the jaw. I broke one of the guy's arms. And I took out 3 guys. Like my buddy that worked at a restaurant across the street said I looked like the Tasmanian devil. So it's kind of a crazy story. I mean, I got I mean, but still, I was protecting my friends, and then them guys wanted to
Yeah.
retaliate and stuff, you know. But yeah, I got thrown through a Jiffy store plate glass window.
Dang.
Well, that's not as fun as a rap video.
Oh yeah,
No,
I think we've
no less
actually had,
entertaining.
yeah, we've had 2 guests that have actually been in part of a
rap videos,
video.
huh?
I guess it's a thing in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I've not had it happen to me, but apparently it's a thing in Kentucky.
Well, we haven't driven through Kentucky enough, apparently.
I thought I'd been through Kentucky a lot. It's like my second home.
Man, yeah, rap videos. I like rap videos, man. I like old school rap though.
Give us your favorite old school rapper.
Well,
we're getting random.
Eric B is the DJ, but Rakim is the rapper, and all them guys today can't touch that guy rapping lyrically. Cannot touch him.
I agree.
It's not the same
Dude,
stuff.
that's fair.
Days.
I hope Will's listening because that's very fair. Will Richardson is actually, I don't know if you know this.
He's a closet old school rapper.
He is into some closet old school rap music, and it is phenomenal.
EPMD. Don't give me. I like all that stuff. Old Slick Rick, you know, back in the day. You know, Ghetto Boys. They're from Houston. You know, all that stuff. Old Public Enemy, BDP. Third Base. Them white guys. Remember them? Man, Nas. All them guys, dude. There's so much better rappers. And they rapped about way better stuff than all them people that repeat the same syllable over and over today.
Now, talking about road trips and gas station. Now we're on this random topic of music. What are you listening to while you're driving? You use a punk rocker, and
I like reggae. There's a reggae band called Stick Figure.
Okay,
and put in Stick Finger Radio on Pandora. Like pick the channel, Stick Figure channel, and it's gonna play like some Tribal Seeds, some Revolution, some Iration. Dude, it's straight chill music. I mean, they got some.
I did not see that coming.
It's good, dude.
We'll throw that in tomorrow.
I'm covered in tattoos, man. Come on.
I'm like, I mean, you're diverse. Real question is,
I listen to some good stuff. You know, Adam J just had that new song come out about Texas. Man, that thing's legit, dude. That song's legit.
No, the real question is, do you listen to any country?
Yeah, I like country. I like the Zach Brown band. I like all that kind of stuff. Luke Ryan. Luke Ryan was one of my favorite concerts I've ever been to. He puts on a damn good show.
Yeah,
man.
His music taste is about as eclectic as mine is.
Oh yeah, his Bill Dance song is like hits all the feels, man. Dude,
I like that was pretty good.
I listen to Face to Face, Pennywise, Social Distortion. You know, I have some, you know, Down by Law. That's like an older punk band from like the early '90s. The old Offspring, like all kind of stuff like that. I like everything. I like all kind of music. I listen to KC and the Sunshine Band. Man, come on. I like the Nirvana. I like the Cure. I like who else? Sunny Day Real Estate. Some of that alternative stuff. You know, Smashing Pumpkins. I like everything. I'm very musically diverse.
Saying Nirvana, and it's funny. Like Nirvana's got like this whole. I don't know what wave they would be on, but you know, the new Batman movie had the Something in the Way on there, and it's like everyone's like, oh, yeah. It's like been around for a minute.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, we've covered a lot of stuff on this one. I mean,
I don't know where we went with it, but it was fun.
This is what happens. This is what happens when we don't have notes. We get in weeds.
Yeah, for the record, my phone is still locked. I've had no notes all night tonight. We have just done this whole podcast off the cuff, and it's been a fun one.
Yeah, it's all I'm a practical joker at times too. So yeah,
there ain't nothing wrong with that. Somebody's got to.
I'll make some people laugh, and I'll talk the dang paint off the wall too. I won't shut up.
The real question is, can we get you and Chris Funk on here together? Because I think collectively,
I think that'd be a good one. That might be a good one.
Collectively, me and Zach could just drop ourselves off the screen, and just let this thing go.
Probably so.
It might. We would have content that we could like clip out for that for months.
Oh yeah. Well, it'd probably go well over the 1 hour mark too.
That's okay. I'm good with that.
Yep. My wife's not though. She's like 8 o'clock. I'm ready to go to bed. No, it's all good. She likes to get her sleep because she wakes up every morning at like 4:15 to go to the gym. She's been doing that this whole school year, and then school just ended. So yeah, props to her for putting in work too. She's been doing real good on that, man.
Yeah.
Well, can't do what you do. Like I can't do what I do without my family support too. You know, that's a big plus is having a good family support system. Can't stress that enough.
Absolutely.
100%.
So on that note, and on the 1 hour note, which is almost 8 o'clock, gives you an hour before bedtime.
Oh yeah.
Thank the people you need to thank, bro, and tell the people where to find out more about you.
All right. Well, I thank my family, my wife, my daughter, putting up with all my mess. My son just moved back down with us from Austin too, so got some adjustment with that. You know, but thanks to my family, you know, for sure wouldn't be where I'm at without them. You know, thanks to all the sponsors, you know, Jackson Kayak, Orion Coolers, first and foremost. That's a family, man. That's what it is right there. Everybody, love everybody on that team, man. Everybody knows we can reach out to each other if we got something going on, and somebody's going to be there for you. Waterloo Rods, you know, local company, Jimmy Burns, been supporting me for a long time. First kayak guy to really get the ball rolling with him, and I'm stoked to be part of them. Torquedo, you know, Matt Ball and Jeff Little believed in me to put me on that team, and I'm definitely stoked to be with them. Catch is the same thing. You know, some of the tier of anglers that are on all these teams that I'm a part of is like, wow, how am I even part of that? It just makes you, man, it humbles you sometimes to see some of these names you're associated with these teams with. It's just like, wow. Kayak Cushion, you know, he's been hooking me up with some stuff. We had a little limited run on one of those for me. Grande Bass and Grande Salt. Texas Rattler, Chopping Block Victoria. I got Beck and Maston Coastal Bend, a GMC Buick dealer that helps me out. You know, little stuff here, the wrap on the truck, tournament expenses, and some gas money here and there. You know, I'm very fortunate to have some help, man. So I appreciate everything from everybody. Volta Lithium, batteries. Try not to leave anybody out. You know, just everything's. You know, I'm just blessed. I can't thank everybody enough. All the sponsors for the support. You know. Show and thanks to y'all for having me on the podcast. Too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
you're coming back.
It won't be the last time for sure.
No, every guest we've had on, man, it's like coming back, and you know we couldn't ask for better people that we've had on this podcast. It's been a journey, it's been a ride, and we've had a good time.
Yeah,
a lot of good stories too. And I can't hide you to end this thing. So
it's all good.
I can't.
Or that can. But hey, ain't no big deal. Ain't no big deal tonight. But no, thank you everybody for watching. We've got another podcast come to you actually on Thursday night. You find that over on the Jackson Kayak Facebook page. It is the one and only Doc Talk episode 2. Little different format. It's chilling out with our team anglers, talking about the tournaments that have went on in their local areas. We'll have Dustin on probably for that. We'll be talking about some redfish tournaments and different things. All the bass tournaments this week. We've got some pretty cool guests lined up. I actually need to get one more. But yeah, so looking forward to Doc Talk. That will be Thursday night, 8 o'clock, same time, Jackson Kayak Fishing Facebook page. Then the Orion Podcast. Zach, we will be back. Gosh,
2 weeks.
man. We'll be back till the 12th. That sounds like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That does.
Yeah, long time.
One more. Yak Gadget. I forgot.
Yak Gadget. What's up, Yak Gadget?
Good stuff over there, man. You know, I was one of the original teammates put on their team there, and they've done a lot of good stuff with that brand, and it's
right on.
Growing tremendously. Appreciate them too over there.
We will be back.
Yeah.
Again for the Orion Podcast on the 12th.
Hopefully fewer scheduling conflicts this time, and we can
fewer scheduling conflicts. But everybody have a great 4th of July weekend. We'll see you on the flip side. Zach, end broadcast.
I got it. Later.